This is the time that was noticed and posted for a work session for the Board of Supervisors. It's Tuesday, November 26th. It's 1:00 p.m. We're in the Board of Supervisors hearing room, Melody Lane, Bisbee. Pursuant to ARS 38-431.02H, the public will have physical access to the meeting place 15 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Any item on this agenda is open for discussion. We begin with roll call. District 1.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Cosby is here.
District 2, Supervisor English is present. District 3. Members of the public may also attend this meeting by Microsoft Teams computer or mobile app, or by phone by calling 602-609-7513 or 888-680-6714. Conference ID 558-167-189#. If you have trouble accessing this meeting remotely, call 520-432-9200 for direction. Work sessions are a time for county staff to inform and discuss agenda items with the Board of Supervisors. Public comments will not be taken. Introductions, as always in work sessions, I believe that you need to introduce yourself before you begin to speak and tell us your name and your position. So today we're looking at Facilities Department informational update. If you have nothing to add to that, Rich, I'll turn it over to, okay, Daryl Crowley, our Facilities Director.
Cool. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Daryl Crowley, Director of Facilities. Get started with this. See if I can remember to operate this thing. Okay. Cool. Yep. Starting off, we have the BDI hangar. We have been working on trying to get a new power supply there. I know we had some federal funds that became involved, and so Dan Coxworth has kind of taken that over and is working on that as well. So it is still in the process. It's just hasn't happened as fast as we'd like for it to happen. The Douglas Service Center, we are in the process of rebuilding the exhaust system on the boiler. It is a little dilapidated and started to rust out. Unfortunately, they were scheduled to come last week, but on the way down, part of the stuff blew out of the back of the truck, and so they ended up having to cancel and reorder materials. So that will happen again here real short, probably a week or 10 days would be my guess. The Bisbee, I can honestly say the Bisbee admin building elevator overhaul is 100% complete. That elevator is working just like it was a brand new one. A lot of kudos to that, to American Elevator and those guys that have been working on it, because it does. It works very, very slick, very quiet, nice and smooth. So far, knock on wood, we don't have any problems. Thanks. The Wilcox Airport Terminal remodel is 100% complete, and they've been back in there now probably about 45, maybe 60 days. So everything there seems to be working very well. I have not had any complaints or any calls to come back and take care of everything. So it is working very well.
And you got a new sign in?
I was not tasked with putting a new sign in, but Dan may be having that done somewhere.
Well, that was information to us. There was going to be a new sign, so I just wanted to.
And again, hasn't been on my plate, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't happened.
Like, was that changed for the tractor?
I believe so. Yeah.
For the, I think he came before the board. I think.
Oh, he decided not to put up a sign. He was going to buy a tractor.
And we joked about putting a sign on the back of the tractor. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. And we are working very hard on trying to get all of our fire panels throughout the entire county upgraded. In fact, I spent 3 hours this morning at the courthouse because the one at the courthouse has been down. It was down yesterday morning. Again, some of them are so old and antiquated, and then like that courthouse, it's not something that we can just go in and put a new panel in. The whole thing has to be completely rebuilt, everything from the pull stations to the smoke detectors to the horns, strobes, everything. So it is in some cases a very daunting task to get this stuff replaced and redone. We are working with Metro Fire out of Phoenix because the Tucson office isn't even big enough to handle the courthouse. So, but the courthouse, the admin building, all of those are very, very antiquated systems. So we are in the process of doing that. We're doing that throughout the whole county. Yes, sir.
Is the public and our employees safe in those buildings?
Yes, yes, because most of these buildings, when we're in there, like operating yesterday, the security staff is there. I've notified them that the alarm system is down, and so that if there's an issue, that they need to make sure that everybody is notified. But we did get it back up today, so it's back in operation and not an issue. But that's one of those things we take as a very big priority about trying to get it back up and making it operational as quickly as we can. And then part of our fire panels throughout the county don't even call the 911 system. We're in the process of trying to upgrade that as well, just so that when the alarm system goes off, it automatically calls all the first responders. Everybody comes like they're supposed to. Because a lot of these, we have to immediately pick up the phone and call, let them know that there's an issue. Our Melody Lane facilities building, if you guys come in that way, is well under construction. They actually poured all of the pillars today for the floor, for the support all the big steel beams in that structure. So it will start taking shape very quickly now, because now they can go in there, there's a retention wall in the front where the dock, so that the trucks can back up and unload. There is, like I say, a retention wall that has to go in there. But as soon as that's there, then they'll start grading the floor, and we'll actually have a concrete floor here for too much longer, I believe.
Are any of the walls going to be concrete?
No, it's all steel. Moving into 24-25 project updates, HVAC replacement. We just completed the HVAC replacement on building C and D. Wilcox is next, the service center. It probably will be scheduled somewhere at the end of February, first part of March. And again, that is, the holdup there is getting the equipment. Again, there's quite a backlog. We ordered it quite some time ago, and I know the federal government has a deal where they have to change refrigerants starting the 1st of January. So I'm sure this new equipment is all going to be under the new refrigerant. So again, that's why it probably won't happen until first couple of months of the new year.
Do I remember correctly? Did you say there was like 25 units just in that Wilcox?
No, there's 13 in the Wilcox. Yeah. Let's see. Melody Lane C and D we just completed. Building B is our next one. We're working on quotes now, as well as Building A. Again, these are all units that are 20 years old or older. Slowly, methodically, we're about to get through though. We've actually got most all of them caught up. So for here on, as long as we stay on schedule, it should not be near as great a task. Sierra Vista JDC will be in the fall. Our strategic plan, JP5, we're in the process now of painting and doing carpet, just like what we are doing here. They were in there a week or 10 days ago and had it for a week while the judges were out. We did part of the clerk's offices, got the courtrooms, and then over the Christmas holiday, they'll move back in and finish painting. And then once that's done, then we'll fall in and do carpet. Again, it's trying to work around while everybody's there and not disturb and continue business as usual is a bit of a scheduling task, but everybody seems to be working quite well together. Our administration department, as you well see, is underway. Probably sometime late next week, I would imagine we'll be finished. Yes, sir.
Is this like the longest lasting carpet in the universe?
Well, I don't know about that, but it is for us, it is by far the best stuff, because if something happens to one of these squares, we can yank it up and put a new one down. And it does happen quite often. Ink, we've had a little bit of everything happen to it. So that's the reason that we've gone to carpet squares versus wall to wall. It just, for us in the long term, it's a lot better product. Okay. HVAC, like I said, we were talking, I am trying to slowly but surely innovate controls on all of our HVAC throughout the county as well. And this is part of our cost reduction process of, if we can get these things on controls where we can turn them on when people are here and turn them off when they're unoccupied, or at least turn them down so that we're not heating 24/7, it'll make a drastic difference. We're trying to do the same thing with our electrical side. Same with switch, go to motion detectors, timers and whatnot, just so that we can curb our energy usage. Roofing maintenance plan, we just completed doing the sheriff's admin building. Our next one is Foothills West, where superintendent of schools is at. Next big task is the county three key hierarchy. We're very, very close about pulling the PO for that. Just to give you an idea, it's such a large task. This campus alone has 663 lots. So it is a tough task to get it all in the right hierarchy so that each department can control its own keys. So again, we're very close to pulling the trigger on that. We had an initial quote that didn't have all the information in it that we wanted, but we should be having that before the end of next week as well. We are working on the admin building, parking, and
something before
Sure.
you go on. You're talking about keys?
uh-huh.
Are you talking about physical keys? You're
Yes.
talking about
Yes.
electronic keys?
No, this is separate of the DSX system that uses our badges. They will be kind of intertwined, but at the same time, it is manual keys. And a key hierarchy goes along with it.
Why? Why do we need that many keys?
Just because there's all the different offices and everybody that wants their stuff kept private.
So the big part of this, when we started the DSX process, the final step was to rekey the current buildings because over the years, key control kind of got out of control.
Right.
And so there's still keys out there, master keys that could open up stuff that we would not want to have opened by, people outside the county. And so this gets that final step, getting the keys structured so we know exactly who has every key and access to everything. There primarily will be used the DSX, the swipe access is still going to be the main focus for getting access into buildings. But then there's the office. We don't have those swipe access at office doors. And so that's why there's such a number of keys, because each of the office doors have a different key. We need to make sure we have that hierarchy so we know except who has keys to them.
It happens everywhere.
Yes. And
People love their keys. I don't know why, but they take them with them.
well, then again, that's where part of
They lose
the
them.
hierarchy comes back into place. Holding everybody responsible for when they're issued them is when they leave and go out the doors. We get them back. So
My theory always was, if I give you a key to that, then you're responsible for everything that's in there. If I don't give you a key, so do you understand it's,
exactly.
I don't think you want a key.
Right. and that's kind of what we've been doing as well is putting together
If I give
procedures.
you a key, you got to sign your name and you're responsible for everything in that room.
Exactly. And that's the way it needs to be.
Right.
There's been quite a bit of pushback because there's a lot of people that don't want it.
Oh, I know. I know. And it's kind of like anything else. People start to be territorial.
Yes.
This is my room. It's not the county's building and the county's room. It's my room.
Right.
My desk, my chair. Well, who bought all that? Well, the county did, but it's my desk and my chair in my room. Okay, go ahead.
All right. The administrative parking and the handicap walkway up at the admin building. We have started it. We had to pull off because we had some time constraints that we had to meet in other areas. We will get back to it. Part of the deal is we already have widened the entrance into that parking lot and we'll go in there and resurface it all, plus do a new handicap ramp and everything in and out of that building. And I think we're going to add some handicap parking there as well, because we've had quite a few citizens call that when they got there was no handicap parking because it was already all used up. We only had a couple, and unfortunately, a lot of our staff is using that. So again, we'll accommodate the public as we can.
And when you're
Melody,
talking about the admin building, you're talking about the building next to the courthouse?
yes, ma'am. Melody Lane Buildings E and F drain system. When they originally built these buildings, these three, E, F, and G, they had a water harvesting program set up. But unfortunately, they did not design the harvesting system to be large enough to handle all the water that comes off the roofs. So in the process, they yanked all of those systems out, and there was no natural drainage or no design drainage back here on the backside of these buildings. So now what we're having to do is go back and attach to the drains coming off the roof and plumb it all out into the parking lot so that it doesn't flood the back part of the building. That is on our task to do this spring. We also have a drainage issue right here in front of the BOS. When they open the road that comes down from building A down into this complex, it channels all the water and it comes rolling down here and hits the front of this wall. And yes, and unfortunately we have a gigantic hole right here in the front. We're going to put a catch basin in above the wall and then turn it and take it all off over here into the pasture and turn it loose so we don't even have to deal with it. Again, that's another one of our spring tasks to get in front of the monsoon so next year we don't have those issues. I guess that's it. Yeah. All of our big ones that we have, the big projects that we have ongoing. We did start one this morning, the well at Elfrida, at the Elfrida Road Yard, due to the changing of the elevation in the valley has created quite an issue because all the ground has settled around our well and it snapped the well line off at the well end. So we're now pulling that well and rebuilding the head structure so that hopefully we can avoid that from happening again. That's kind of where we're at. Any questions?
No questions here.
All right, Mr. Cordell.
I think it's great that we're looking at, always looking at trying to make the employees' lives easier and keep their places looking nice, clean. And when the public sees our facilities, it doesn't make us feel like we're a rinky-dink operation. So when you drive up to any of our facilities, I think anyone who is a county resident can do that with pride. So thank you for keeping that moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, like I said many times, if it weren't for my staff, it would be a different story. I have a pretty good group of people.
You have any questions or comments, Tom?
No, just, if they ever persevere, I was the courthouse up on Quality Hill, especially the one that's to the left as you're looking at the whole thing.
The admin building?
Is that what they call it?
Yes. Well, again, that's where we're working on the parking lot. Well, we've opened up the entrance into it because it was pretty tight. You had a hard time getting a small SUV through there. Part of the reason we opened it up so we could get cement mixers up in there to pour all that concrete because it is a pretty good task to get that all repoured.
Okay.
And part of the walls in the front are needing some attention, and we're working on that as well.
And have you do ground the stumps?
Yes, we ground all the stumps out of there of the trees that used to be there. So they're all. And as soon as I can get all the wall and the concrete stuff taken care of, then we'll hardscape the two areas that are in front of that building, and get it into to where it looks nice and neat and clean again. Again, there used to be a bunch of trees there, and it was well landscaped, but over the years it has depleted.
So right now is not a good time to take a look at it. It's better to wait.
Well, yeah, give us 6 months and
6 months. Okay.
yeah, I would imagine maybe a little longer, but
That's fine.
it'd be a pretty good deal. We have some quotes on doing all the hardscape once we have all the concrete. The retaining walls are trying to lay down a little bit, so we need to do some work there before we do all that. Doesn't make any sense to get the hardscape in front of the retaining walls and everything laying down. So again, we need to get that just
How recently has that big retaining wall been done?
that I could not tell you. It's been a long time. Just by what I see,
I thought that one in front of the administration, we had to do it because it caved off.
they have. That I couldn't tell you. I don't know the history behind it. There's just a small section there that is kind of leaning out a little too far. But break it back and report.
Is court conducted there now?
Yes. Judge Thorne has a court in.
Thought he might have moved over.
No. No, I don't think there's any empty courtrooms there. And
Okay.
I think Rich is moving into the one that's about to empty.
That is correct.
But people want to be in that building because it's easier to come and go without being seen. Hey, it's just the way it is, you know?
There's a back way to get to that entrance. There's a road behind the parking.
Yeah. Okay, well, if we have no other questions, I guess we'll look forward to you scheduling again in a few months so the new board can see how you're moving forward.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And have a good Thanksgiving.
All right, will do.
Be
Thank you.
thankful and grateful.
Yeah.
Next meeting is at 2:00 in the Board of Supervisors hearing room for the Steel District work session. Having said that, meeting is adjourned.